Right, 6 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Christina, you have the roll.
Yes.
I will dispense with the pledge of allegiance unless there's an objection. On to old business.
Yeah, approved it in the first.
I'll move to approve this evening's agenda.
Thanks.
Second.
Just gonna skip you. We have a motion and a second.
I got a second, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Our stormwater retrofit, Beltrami Soil and Water.
All right, hi everyone. My name's Kaylee. This is my coworker Claire. You guys cool if we sit, or would you prefer that we stand?
Whatever.
And however you're comfortable,
Okay,
go ahead.
this is fine then. Did you guys get a chance to review the retrofit analysis at all?
Yes.
Yes,
Awesome.
well, with the Blackduck section.
Yeah, and that's all you need to look
It's a
at.
65-page document. So.
Yeah, luckily Blackduck is right in the beginning. so
Yes,
you just gotta
13
do that.
pages, and that was enough for me.
And are you guys familiar at all with the Beltrami SWCD? No?
I'm not.
Mm-mm.
Let's
Okay.
start at the beginning.
Yeah, so Claire and I are clean water specialists, and we work for the Beltrami Soil and Water Conservation District. And essentially what conservation districts do is they provide technical and financial assistance to community members across the whole county for conservation practices. We like to do things called best management practices. And that's essentially stuff that we do on the land that helps support protecting and conserving the environment as well as clean water. Mostly we're focused on water quality at this point in time. We work a lot with the One Watershed, One Plan program, which is clean water legacy funding specifically for watersheds in the state of Minnesota. And so up here in Blackduck, we're in the upper lower Red Lake watershed. And there's funding set aside specifically for stormwater projects to help with suspended solids and nutrients that are going into water bodies in the watershed. And specifically last year, I think the county came out, or the conservation district came out to the county, I'm sorry, to Blackduck, not the county, and worked on assessing some of the stormwater infrastructure that we've already got here. And HR Green, based out of St. Paul, made some suggestions on what they think could be done in Blackduck to help improve some of the pollutants coming off of the stormwater that are eventually ending up in Blackduck Lake. And in the suggestions in the report, I think there was a couple of baffles and a forebay and a retention pond. And the retention pond is the one that we're kind of thinking on as being the most significant in the report, because Blackduck Lake is impaired specifically for mercury and I believe phosphorus for nutrients. There isn't much of a concern when it comes to sediments for Blackduck Lake, at least according to the DNR and how they are categorizing impairments in the water bodies of the state. So a retention pond is the one that's going to hit the nutrients the most. The baffles are more so focused on sediment. So what a baffle is in a manhole in the stormwater system. It's basically just like a bucket that's got a filter or some cylindrical options in there that collect the sediment to prevent it from moving further down into the bodies of water. So a retention pond will also capture sediment, but it will also have a lot of what they call a buffer area around the pond, and that will help uptake some of the phosphorus and nitrogen that would otherwise be going into Blackduck Lake. Is that a lot of big words, or was I talking too fast?
No.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any kind of thoughts or questions on some of the suggestions from the report that we could maybe answer?
Well, I know there was a budget involved and there's annual maintenance fees.
Yes,
And it
and-
says that the city is responsible for the annual maintenance expenses, but I didn't see any definitive statement who's responsible for the construction costs.
Yeah, so that's an important aspect of these projects. And so that clean water legacy funding that we have for the upper lower Red Lake watershed would cover up to 100% of the construction of the project. We would have to get a written agreement from you guys that you'd be interested in the project. We would then take it to our policy committee for approval, and it would generally be a minimum of like 50 to 75%, but I'm hearing good things about it being 100% coverage. for the construction.
Mhm.
When you're looking at the ponds, typically that's like a 5-year dredging. With the baffles, the under the manhole, you're looking at vacuum pumping, and we're working on trying to get a vac trailer to be able to pump out some of these in the future, which is pretty exciting. Help reduce costs for smaller cities in our watersheds. And then overall, Blackduck Lake, we have a goal of trying to reduce the phosphorus 5%. And so in that, a project like the retrofit or like the retention pond, you can see under this little chart, it says TP, which is total phosphorus. And then it's got the annual removal, which is pounds per year. So if you look at, say, the retention pond, you're looking at 17.3 pounds of phosphorus removed per year from going into the lake. So that would be near half the goals for the lake for 5% phosphorus reductions. So
Mhm.
some exciting potential projects.
Mhm.
Want to talk about the funding timeline?
Where would we be putting this retention pond?
You could see on
In the rest area.
page over where there's already a little bit of a drainage area where the
Right.
pond was proposed. And I think you can see that there's currently some buffer area there, so there is a little bit of treatment already happening. But it's over right by that city park.
We're trying to go to each of our smaller cities in the watershed, propose some possible projects, and then typically looking at a year or so out timeline wise for funding. We have started allocating some of our funds for projects over the next year, but it's good to start planning. Sometimes people like to time projects with like road construction or other capital improvement projects that they're working on. So trying to get the information out there for future planning.
Yeah, I did a rough calculation on the annual maintenance. I think it, everything totals up to about 6,500 cost, which we would have to come up with, as well as any additional for construction that's not covered, so.
We have a lot of, typically it's with a lot of our cost share projects, we do 75% coverage of the project, 25% match from the landowner or the municipality that we're working with. But we're really fortunate with having some other funding in the area that we can match to these projects to reduce costs for municipalities. So it's a pretty good time for conservation.
Mike? Thoughts?
This is our Public Works Director, by the way, Mike Schwanke.
Known about this for quite some time. I've talked to a few people about it. Was surprised to see it pop up when I wasn't around. I mean, it's all up to you guys. You can see what the costs are gonna be. I mean, the annual maintenance for us, the time, that can all be budgeted. I mean, time can be managed. What you guys wanna do, if you think that we can afford it every year, to have those maintenance costs. So be it, the location of that pond, that's a ditch that we've kind of dug and cleaned up over there from what it used to be, so it's really not gonna change the park much down there. It probably would look better really versus the cattails that we go in there and knock them.
Yeah, what would it look like afterwards? I mean, how would it look
It'll
any
look like a
different?
pond.
It'll just look like a
It looks
pond.
like
It
a
would,
pond.
it would be open water. They would
Mhm.
excavate it such that there's a certain volume in there. You need to look at the water that's coming in versus going out. So,
I think just
and there
to-
would probably be a 10-foot aquatic bench around it too.
What would the phosphorus level you said?
the reduction would be about 17 pounds per year.
But do you know what
Under
article you're
current?
testing at?
It's in this report, I believe. You know, off the top of your head.
I don't know. So we can get all that information.
Looks like, 39.3 pounds of total phosphorus annually, specifically for that sub watershed. So when we when this report was done, they broke it up into like 10 sub watersheds. And so for 6 through 8, that's where the loading is about 39, I think it was. Yep, 39 pounds.
And then the lake itself, they do regular testing. We have citizen lake monitors that do water sampling, and then the MPC does testing as well for those, to get those phosphorus levels.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it something that you can do it 1 year and then skip a year? Or, I mean, if you go through and do all this and filter it 1 year and spend the $6,000, can you skip it another year?
It's, I mean, situational, right? Like, you're not gonna
Test it
need to,
again. Right.
are you saying test the lake? Because the testing happens every year, but the maintenance on the pond would, not necessarily be the same every year. You hopefully wouldn't have to dredge the pond in the forebay every single year. You might have to remove a couple of invasive species here and there. Does it say dredging every 5 years? So yeah, the cost would be situational, yeah.
So, yeah, and Ron, your calculation, you broke that down over the 5 years.
Well, I'm just adding up what they say annual, right, annual maintenance. So that would increase, 6,500 would increase every year due to inflation, I'm assuming, if we needed to do all that stuff.
Now, is that just for the pond or is that for all of it?
That could be for multiple projects you may
Yeah,
be looking at there.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
you-
3 sections that they have there.
Yeah, because the baffles, it all depends on what you have going in there. It's gonna be, all these are gonna be based on volume, so it all depends on what's going in there. If you get higher than normal volumes, then maintenance can be increased, but. And so they're talking, everything that's identified in the report is over $1 million for construction costs for everything that's been identified in Blackduck.
Is this 100% a city problem, or is it like other entities? DNR or something like, does something else contribute into this? I mean, is it just the city's responsibility to clean the whole lake?
Oh, no, so we also work with lakeshore owners who try and increase education on best practices on the lakeshore. We work on improving forest management and adding forested areas, conservation of lands, as well as the urban stormwater and agricultural practices. So altogether, we're hoping to get that 5% reduction. And then this is identified as one very large project that could significantly help towards it. So usually urban stormwater can be an easy way to catch a lot of pollutants. And then same with a lot of agricultural practices as well. So we're working with a lot of landowners.
Yeah, because you're talking about a river that comes from a long ways away, that's correct, just our farms, and that's gonna contribute to it.
So, yeah, this is just one slice of the pie.
Yep.
Golf courses probably do. A little bit of fertilizer there.
Well, they've already been down there refencing the farms and.
How does the pond affect the surrounding property owners then? To the south? I mean, is the water like, if you have to dredge it, I'm assuming you're not lining this pond, right? So is it gonna be stable and not affect the landowners to the south?
So these are all designed, all these best management practices, we usually have them designed by engineers. So we work with an engineering firm, make sure all those details are sorted, and that they're not gonna have issues down the road with long-term projects. But I don't know particularly about.
I don't think typically they.
What about
line those or
mosquitoes?
Anything like that. Yeah. Well, you'll get mosquitoes today and you'll get mosquitoes tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think, is there a treatment we can do to the pond?
I believe that pond would be. Oh, on the north side of the service entrance down there that
Yeah.
comes from South Main here. And essentially it's gonna work
Oh.
like the ponds at our shop. You know, when it gets to a certain level, then it runs off. And it's gonna continue through the ditch and go to the creek and to the river, just like it always has.
Mhm.
It's basically just a slow down spot for the sediment to stop.
Correct.
So it's essentially kind of like what's there right now. right? Cause that's how we use that down there.
Right,
now.
just,
Yep.
then it would
It's
be,
just a better, more aesthetic,
just be a little, it's probably bigger, I'm imagining.
right?
A little
Right,
bit bigger,
instead
a
of
little
being
more
a ditch, it'll be a pond.
Usually built into that is like, plants and seeds like that for aesthetics as well. A lot of native pollinator plants, things like that, we try and focus on as well, get multiple benefits.
And I think the HR Green, the company that did the retrofit, selected the pond because the soils there are a little too clay. Otherwise, they would have done like a detention basin or an infiltration basin. And so then you wouldn't have that standing water, but because the soil there is dense and it won't allow for much infiltration, they did recommend the pond.
I don't know, heavy clay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do next steps look like if the council is considering this?
So you guys can take as much time as you need to discuss and think it over. Next steps would be initially
Well,
signing.
Don't say that.
Well, I mean, because, like, I would give it a
We'll be here.
right? Dan is our other clean water specialist, and I think he was saying that an ideal situation would be construction in the summer of 27. Next step would be signing an agreement with the conservation district, indicating your interest and agreement in participating in the project. And we would then, would we take it to the policy committee first?
Steering team. And so we have a group of partners working together on all these projects, assessing them. So it would go to our steering team. Policy, I don't think would need to, as long as, it would get written into our next budget for a line item, as long as we have buy-in. And then the design would be done prior to construction there.
And you said that there was a chance that this could be 100% covered, or?
Does that
it's
include the
gonna be
engineering
100%?
fees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, that would be dependent on the timing with funding. So we can bake that in and talk about all those with the council as well. Mhm.
That would be key. for
That would be
This
for the
town,
town.
because see, we have a limited tax base. This is
Yeah.
a small town, even though we're supposedly the second largest town in Beltrami County. We're
Not anymore.
pretty small.
So that'd be written into your contract, so you'd be signing that before moving forward with any of the project.
I'm just confused at like why this is just all the city, like the city only has up to the park and then the whole rest of it's like Hines Township, so do they have their own catch for any of this? To pay for it?
No, we're trying to go to each, we've got to, every small city in the watershed. So we've been in talks with, North Home, Collier, Blackduck, Red Lake's doing a couple projects as well. And we do have, so I don't know of any township projects lined up, but we do work with townships as well. So if you know of any township projects that could improve water quality, yeah. We're always keeping our eyes out.
Well, I think the premise behind all this stuff is if you look at our watersheds over time, a lot of communities were built without treatment. And so we have runoff that's generated from our municipalities and it's coming into the receiving waters untreated. So this is just a way to try to react to some of that and to try to treat that before it goes.
Is
So-
that due in part to impervious surfaces though?
Yeah.
Cause there's a,
Well, the
I
pavement.
agree with Misty, there's impervious surfaces all over townships too,
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
in
Yeah,
large.
it's not just municipalities.
Yeah. Is it easier to get money out of cities than it is townships?
Yes.
That's my question, cause I think that's the case.
That's why we're
Yeah.
trying
Yep.
up to 100% wherever possible.
But it's easier to treat in communities too, because generally it's concentrated, whereas when you look at townships, 36 square miles, right? And you've got linear roads, it's harder to treat.
In some areas, we're even looking at, putting in small small rain gardens for individual landowners for treatment of some of these where we see runoff from properties, things like that. So we have a pretty big scale of projects that we're working with and working on. Mhm. typically the cities are where we try and do more of the capital improvement funding.
Yeah, because I think pretty much everybody in the world got this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
hopefully.
annual planner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I figured it had something new.
Correct. That was from us.
Yep.
Yep.
Kaylee put on all the stickers
Yeah.
and labeled every address. Yep. So now that there's been a long time planning with a lot of different partners, and then implementation just started this year of these funding, one watershed, one funding for the upper lower red lake, which is why you're just hearing about this all now.
Sure.
The money is becoming available.
What kind of feedback are you getting from other municipalities on this so far?
Well, we've got plans going in with, I think, is it Red Lake?
Sure.
They have agreed to some of them with the tribe there. And then we met with Kellier and we learned that they already had some of these projects installed, but they were interested in pursuing a different project. We'll have to see how that fits in with our funding. We haven't spoken to any other municipality. We're currently working with Bemidji and the county highway department on a couple of projects. They are looking to install like a basin, I think, it's one of them.
So in the Mississippi watershed, which is the lower half of Multnomah County, yeah, we've got, that spans several cities, so we're working, we've got stormwater projects in Bemidji, Cass Lake, Deer River, and Cohasset as well.
I think Nick,
I'm for it. In our watershed, and we're basically destroying it with
everything we pumped,
Everything we do.
everything we dump in.
if we can at least stop it a little bit. Gotta do something, or else. Gotta do your part.
25% of the stormwater pond would be about $90,000, or if you don't get 100% cost share.
Yeah, if we don't.
If you don't get cost share.
Important factor.
Mhm.
And that'll help us with our planning as well.
Okay. Any other questions, or do you guys have more information for us?
That was pretty much all we had prepared. Thank you for listening to us.
Feel free to reach out with any other conservation questions, practices, things that you're wondering about.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Be the staff with you.
Thank you.
Well, I think as long as we can work out the budgeting, we can pursue it. That's key. Participation in the construction cost is key. We've got a lot of water and sewer issues that are going to take up
Quite a bit.
quite a bit and some bonding to do that, so.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
On to the rest of the water issues. Different ponds.
Oh. Yeah.
Questions on this? Well, anyhow, Jim.
I think we put it on hold for that guy right there.
Right there.
If you're what you're saying. I don't have a thing. Are you telling me it's my turn or what?
Well, we're to the lift stations. It's definitely your turn.
Okay, all right. So, last time, obviously, I wasn't here. I was able to watch the video. I had called basically to have it put on hold so we could discuss some things. However, everything has changed since then, in that short amount of time, in my opinion.
Oh,
Well,
Okay.
not everything has changed.
Not everything.
There was enlightening on funding.
Funding has changed on the PER, right? The big grand scheme we've been working on forever. That's part of why I wanted to hold on the lift stations. Wanted to know how close we were in the PER, right? One of the problems, Christina tried to touch on it, missed it just a little bit, was we have multiple lift stations, right, in this town. If we did 3 now and got them the way that we want them, and then the PER came along, we were able to get funding, we're able to move forward with that. Well, now we're gonna get our lift stations done differently than the 3 that we have, right? Which is something we've been desperately trying to avoid.
so that would be 3 versus 4.
Because we've had it this way. Well, you'd have 3 this way, maybe the new 4 this way, whatever, right?
Yep.
So that was part of the holdup. Controls, the different panels, and I mean, not every lift station is the same period in this town, right? There's different size pumps, different head, there's a lot of differences. However, at the same time, there can be a lot of similarities with trying to keep it operator friendly, user friendly, vendor friendly, okay? Without going too far into that, because there's not a need to anymore, in my opinion. The PER money is not around. It's gonna be a while. Tim can touch more on that once I'm done. It's gonna be a while, quite a while from the sounds of it. It's not gonna be 2 years like we thought. That changes everything that I was wanting to hold off on. Flips me back over to, yep, now we gotta go after these 3 lift stations. Because it could be 5 years, 8 years, who knows how many years until there's funding available. With that said, under the PER portion, and this is where you almost gotta be in my head, and good luck to you, because I can't keep it straight. If we're going to do this with these 3 lift stations, in my opinion, it now needs to be taken slightly further than what we had on the table with them. The PER had some generators, right? We had talked with 1 permanent generator, some mobile, pull type generators. In my opinion, if we're going to do this now, we have an old generator down at the shop, an old pull type generator. That generator currently will run 1 pump at the main lift station. It cannot run both. It doesn't have the power for it. I need to look into it, but I believe that if the hookups are correct, it will run both pumps at the West End lift station and at the Black Mallard lift station. They're significantly smaller than the main lift station pumps. So with that said, sorry if it's all a mess, I would suggest that we look at spending a little bit more money and we get a permanent generator at the main lift station while we're doing this. And the other 2 lift stations, the West End and the Black Mallard, are wired with the proper receptacles so that we can run the current generator that we have at those 2 lift stations. Now, the rest of the lift stations that we have in town do not have any receptacle to run the generator, right? However, they are a much lower flow than what the ones we're talking about are. The 4th Street lift station is very low flow. The Forestry lift station is very low flow. The lift station at the shop, very low flow, right?
Yeah, just go outside.
Pretty much, if a person has to. The only other aspect that we haven't touched on with this, being that PER is now being pushed back, is the lift station, glorified sump pump that is behind the motel. If anyone would like to come and see that sometime, I'd be more than willing to show you.
We have the.
It's not a
photos in
lift
that-
station.
in that
You
draft.
guys know, yep. The other thing is, I mean, we've been dancing with that thing for a long time, and there's a lot more going on down at the pond nowadays. The motel's a lot busier. The grocery store is doing more. These are just things that you guys need to be aware of.
And which motel are you talking about?
The only motel that we have,
Okay, so the
the
thing.
Drake Motel.
The Drake.
Drake, okay, so
Yep.
the other thing is on a motel?
No,
The other thing's a hotel.
Hotel.
hotel,
Yep.
kinda.
So behind the Drake over there is a manhole with a pit that essentially has two sump pumps in the bottom of it.
Mhm.
And you know how we check that and how we maintain that? Looking at, oh, yep, it's still there. It's not overflowing, right? We got nothing in that thing. Thing's a nightmare. It needs to be known, being that everything's being pushed back, is that thing's an issue. It's gonna give us problems. I had a guy in there a couple years ago, and it was not pretty when he came out after the pipe bust over the top of him. And if I open the manhole right now, you'll see some ratchet straps holding it together.
Yeah.
So I need to make that known. I need to, and I know that from, you guys just got 2 weeks ago, hey, Mike wants to hold off, to, hey, now Mike's telling us we need more. Things change.
Yep.
And I know it seems crazy, it's crazy to me, but that's where we're at with it. I talked to Max a little bit one day when I saw him, and I really was feeling in a rock and a hard place with where we were, and I feel even more so that way. However, there's a little bit more of a clear path of the PER's pushed back, we gotta do something. So I think that we need to,
Are we doing the right three?
What I hear you saying is that to do the original 3 that we planned and motel.
that's kind of what I'm saying, is that we should
So
do
you
the
want
original
4.
3 plus the motel, and we need to put the generator in.
4 and a generator.
That generator is gonna run probably,
Well, we learned that lesson last summer with the storm.
yes.
And where would the permanent generator be? Located in the manhole or on top of the ground?
No, the permanent generator would be at the main lift station. You
Yeah.
know where the main lift station is by our shop down there?
Basically,
So, yeah, basically right next to it.
above
there.
ground.
Yep, above ground, leaning towards, we need to look into it a little bit, but leaning towards a propane
Propane, yeah.
generator, yep. Just because, propane really doesn't go bad, right?
It would be automatic start, automatic switch over.
In the case of power outage,
Yeah.
yes, yep.
In a perfect world.
And like I said, then we would have the generator that we currently have, the wheeled one that was given to the city on a grant from the state many, many years ago. If we can get that set up right to the other 2, now we're sitting in a lot better situation than when we were when we did have the storm, and we were struggling and calling in every favor we had.
That was a lot more.
Yeah, it was an interesting time.
One of my comments when Mike and I discussed this is, the generators are an importance, and I would like to pursue, and when I get a hot minute, to see if there's FEMA money out there to buy generators. Because in my mind, it's an emergency management thing, not just a stormwater lift station thing.
Correct.
And there might be some money out there to buy a new one or 2, if we can find it. I know this whole funding aspect on the federal level is kind of a crapshoot for us, but FEMA's got money, we just need to,
Figure out how to get it.
yeah. The narrative is there. I mean, we have the example from June storm in 25. I mean, it is not feasible for Mike to drive the current generator around when it doesn't even hook up to all of them.
That was a long 12 hours.
It only hooks up to the main station. A good thing it's portable.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that out, apparently.
Well, and based on my conversation with like 2 weeks ago, I think, and me and Christina talked, it boiled down to affordability for the city, right? Why are we bonding for this when we think that we're going to get funds within a couple of years? So the timing was odd. Our funding folks reached out to find out how these programs are going, and what happened this last year is federal funding was slashed, right? And so that affected a lot of programs. It's already affected programs last year. So then what they told us going forward is with the shortage and the funding cuts that have been recognized, you know, your chance of getting funds is even lower. Now you're competing nationally instead of just state-wise, and the grants that you can receive are a lot less. So what Mike is saying is the predictability of these things even got more crazy. So we don't know what kind of time frame we're talking about. So what you're doing is you're gambling. It's a roll of the dice, right? And so what Mike is saying, in light of that, knowing the condition that we have, you're probably better off looking at what is the affordability that the city can do to make sure that you're set up so you're not running into problems, because we don't know when we're going to get funding for these things now.
And the other good point, Tim, that you've made a number of times is if you go the grant route, you're dealing with no control over the selection of materials, low bidder city. And if we do it through our funding, bonding, whatever, then we can control the buildup, totally equipment.
For the ones in this round, yep.
Yeah, for these four. Because low bidder is not always the best.
Correct. So then with that, in the PER, what we had identified is to have a permanent generator at the main lift station, a permanent generator at the water treatment plant, and then 2 additional portable generators.
You know what number for a dollar amount you've had on?
Yeah, we had 50,000 on the permanent generator and 30,000 for the portables.
I reached out to Todd Fagan from Millers, and he is gonna put a schedule together for like 350 for borrowing. And Mike Bubani is gonna work on it from sort of rural water too, but I feel as though after this conversation, we're probably pushing closer to 4.
Yeah, because I think you were already over 3 without a generator.
Right.
And without that other lift station, with that other lift station.
Right.
And a generator, yeah, you could be 450.
450.
Well, what you need to understand about that other lift station is that's not a rehab over there.
That'll be redo.
That's a
That's a
new-
full on, it needs to have a real lift station put in.
That would change, yeah,
That changes a lot.
and that'll be over 100 grand for that probably.
So we're talking closer to
So you
really
might be
5.
closer to 500,000.
Yep. That's, like I said, it's the craziness, right? It's just, it swirls in my head because you try to do something that's half-ass affordable and everything changes and now we're back over here again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, you know, pardon my French, don't have a pot to piss in most of the time anyways, so here we are.
I don't think that was French.
Whatever you want to call it.
At least you bring it to our attention and not.
I'm not gonna sit on it. I mean, you guys gotta
Yeah.
know, yeah.
No, and it's not that we didn't
Just
know,
getting
Mike,
by.
it's that we need to be reminded.
And not only that, it's just, we're in a really tough spot all around with this stuff. Our infrastructure is just aging out and we're not sitting well to do anything with it.
Okay,
So I guess my suggestion would be before you say, yes, go ahead, like, was almost done recently. I think that we should at least let Tim and I look at what the cost of that lift station would be
You're gonna need it.
behind the drag.
That's what I was gonna say, is we need a solid number.
Yep.
We need solid numbers first before we can say anything.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Try to put a rush on it, I know, cause we're,
well, no, I mean, put all four in and the generators with it, because I don't see the point in doing what we did last summer again. It's going to happen, it's just when.
and that at least,
Or it could be, it could have been a lot worse for Blackduck that day.
well, and the generators with the wastewater, keep that moving, right? So we're not backing up houses, overflowing manholes. We still have the problem of the water plant not having a generator. Most of the time when we lose power, it's because of a storm in the summer, right? In the summer, we keep that water tower 100% full. In the winter time, we keep the water tower roughly half full.
Right.
The reason we do that is so that we pump more often. We move water through it because we don't have a mixer in it.
But your measure will change that too after the project.
Right, and that down
That's-
the road,
Yeah.
right? So
The point is, a full water tower, what's that, 3-4 days?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not 3 or 4.
2.5, maybe,
Okay.
all depends on, is it the weekday, is it a weekend, is it a holiday?
If you
Well,
could
Get
get people
school
to
in,
reserve,
summer, yeah.
There is so much.
Well,
I'll put it like this, roughly, we pump roughly on average 5,000 gallons a day
okay,
is about what we're pumping, so that's essentially the usage per day, right, in town. It's 150,000 tank, 125,000. I always get height and mixed up, something like that. So in the summer, I'm not as worried, right? Because generally speaking, when we do lose power, I mean, I've been here 7 years now, and I don't think we've ever lost it for more than 14, 15 hours. This last year, I think was the longest one.
longest stretch.
Right, so I know in the summertime, we've got some time. And the power company's been great about working with us and getting us back up and going. First and foremost, most of the time, right? Because we have an entire city that relies on if our water tower is going, if our pumps are going. Winter, a little different, like I said, but neither here nor there. I think if you give me and him a little bit of time, get it figured out, go from there.
Give me the numbers and.
No, I didn't,
Financing.
no, I would be looking at the Drake lift station, but that was in the PER. If you
Okay.
got a copy of that,
Yeah, it was actually.
yeah, if you got a copy of that, I can give you a number tonight.
I don't obviously have one up here. She probably has one.
Well, here, I don't have my computer.
That would at least give us-
My draft is at home.
That'll get us roughly there for right now. It's gonna be a big number with all these things on there. And I hate to do it this way, but if that funding is getting pushed that far back.
Bear with me, this might take a day.
Oh, you won't listen, it's about this thick.
Well, that protection plan, it's just thick.
I printed one for a council member and then that was it.
That was it. Well, we can get you.
All right. So the rest of this, under the lift stations here, kind of not gonna matter now.
What do you mean?
The quotes and the,
Oh, well, I just included that to give you guys a refresh, because
so-
I haven't had it in a
Yeah,
pocket for a while.
I think it's
That-
kind of,
Change.
since it's going to change, it'll be,
Yeah, I mean, all of that is the quotes that were generated by Minnesota Pump Works last fall.
Sure.
So those are just guides for us at this point.
All right. Anything else? Hello? All right. On to the next. Police Department.
I spoke with our city attorney recently in regards to this conversation. What he advises is, yes, you don't have to, by legalities, you don't have to have a public hearing. It's a good idea to do so. He will attend the March 16th date if you move forward with it officially. I haven't had feedback from Sheriff Riggs since last week. He had a death in the family, so I think he's been out of office, but
Okay.
the county attorney is aware of the conversation. The county administrator has not been, to my knowledge, nor the commissioners at that point. But I imagine it won't take much for Sheriff Riggs to bring them into that circle of conversation. So really what I need from the board is just, yes, we're gonna proceed with that date so I can post notice. Because basically what the city would be doing is rescinding an ordinance, because it is in section 340
Yep.
or 350 to establish a police department.
Okay. Can we put the notice on the water bills too?
It won't get out in time. Water bills have already gone out for February, and the water bills won't be out before March 16th.
I've already paid my water bills.
Congratulations.
Yes, Misty, absolutely. Yeah.
So what's the plan with the new office?
That will be a conversation the city will have to have. You missed it at one of the meetings where Earhart and Riggs were both here. And that's a conversation that the county wants to have as well. But even Earhart says it's still necessary for law enforcement up here to have some landing area and to utilize at least, the restrooms, the break room and office for interviews is necessary. So I would say that that's
Yeah.
an open conversation for the city to have.
So we're planning this for a date deliberately that's not part of a council meeting day or a work session.
Correct.
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 Are we having it in this building? Let me rephrase that. We're having this in this building, right?
That was my original plan. I know other people have said you should have it someplace else, but I mean, the only other alternative I would suggest might be the clubhouse. It's just, you're not going to be streaming it is going to be harder. I don't know if I'm sure I can figure the IT out if that's going to be the case, but
What's the draw to move the venue?
yeah.
What? Or
Don't
you're
ask
just
me.
curious?
I
Oh, okay.
don't understand the reason. It didn't make any sense to me. So if we can have a contentious hearing like the cannabis in this building, I don't see why we'd need to move it a mile and a half out of town.
No.
I guess there's different opinions on the public interest. I would think there would be less people attending than the cannabis hearing. We managed to handle that pretty well.
Yeah, well, they're gonna balk. There's gonna be balking about, what we spent on a police office. you know, for, with the understanding that we would have our own police. I can already hear people going, well, what do we spend all that money for if this is what we're gonna do?
We took a chance, you know,
So, yep.
the new facility, new squad, these are supposed to be drawing points, you know,
Mhm.
that's what they were. They were supposed to attract that officer. And it's not working.
Right,
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you could say we don't really have a police department now, so we're not replacing, we don't have an officer.
You
We've
have-
advertised it,
you
I
have
believe,
Two
for,
part-timers.
Part-time,
You have 2 part-time officers.
yeah, and the chief.
Yeah.
Right, assigned, but I mean, we've had a position listed for quite some time,
Mhm.
years, I believe, and we have no qualified applicants.
No one viable at this
Yeah,
point to really.
no one
hire.
viable, no one interested, so.
No.
What was your offer? What were you offering for? a week?
Our wage range is 27 to 38. Starting Beltrami County is 38. We're $10 less, $11 less than what the county is. And it's my understanding that that is about the starting at Bemidji too, and they're having a hard time hiring people.
so you need this to be on March 16th, is that's what I understand you want?
That's the discussion we had with Riggs, and it worked for him at that
Okay.
time. So the more partners we can get to the meeting, the easier it'll be on, you know, getting questions answered.
okay,
I have no objections.
I think it's safer just to have it here. If the second one is, if we get a lot of interest at the first one and we choose that the second one is needed to have a new location, then we can address that at that time.
and. Yeah, well, sheriff will be here to help answer questions too, that things of the whys.
Mhm.
My only question would be, because I've missed too much, if you're gonna have a public hearing, are you going to include like, because I'm not even 100% sure what we're getting from the county. Is it 40 hours we're getting?
Yes, a week.
Okay, like that's gonna have to be
Absolutely.
public. People don't even know what is happening or, you know.
Right.
And we had Travis at 40 hours a week, right?
Correct.
And then you had coverage after that, like the county came up and covered after that, or what?
Well,
was
the
it?
county is already covering here,
Right.
so we can't really say that we had them. The city already had 2 part-time officers in addition to Travis.
In addition,
So on average, a payroll, we probably had about a little over 100 hours covered on a 2-week timeframe, but the department's never been 24/7 coverage.
Right,
And it's important for people to understand that although that there's deputies up here, the city itself didn't have 24/7 coverage.
so has it already been decided from you guys then that you're gonna go this route?
No,
You're just.
this
presenting
is entertaining.
So what are you doing to entertain another option? What's plan B?
The only other plan B is to sit in limbo as we are and continue waiting to see if we get a candidate.
Is there any way you can up the ante there to go to match Bemidji?
No,
It would throw the equity of the whole city off. All the rest of the department people would have to, their wage ranges would have to scale too.
Pretty good with the 16th?
yes, I am,
yep, and in this building.
yes.
Correct,
Yeah.
sir.
I think it's important for everybody just to think that this is just gaining feedback from the community in regards to the topic.
Yeah, I mean, we can continue on the way we're going.
Yep. If it is, you know, pitchforks and knives don't do this to our community, then you guys are gonna take that input the way you need to do it. And that's otherwise, like our attorney said, you don't have to get a public hearing to do this. It's a good thing for you to do. It shows good faith.
And when
Nice to hear the
you,
feedback too.
Yeah,
when you say the attorney would be attending via electronically or?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have a meeting that night in another city.
All right,
I'll update the notice so that it's got our location, address, the whole 9 yards posted.
Mhm.
I'll put it on the 365 page and get it on the website too.
And just for my edification, right now, our police department serves within the city limits of Blackduck and does not serve surrounding townships.
Oh, yeah, it does.
yeah, we do.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
So if they,
So did Travis. Mhm.
we get a call, they will go to the township.
Yep. If
Whoever's
there's a fire,
quickest.
if there's a accident,
Mhm.
if the ambulance needs assistance, all 3 entities of emergency management basically respond.
And do the townships provide any funding for that or is
For
it
fire, they do,
for fire?
and for ambulance, they
Yeah.
do,
Not,
but not law enforcement.
there's
The
not a
law
line
enforcement,
item.
no, if they do anything for law enforcement, it's going to the county
Mhm.
and then being funneled to the sheriff's department.
The fire department's up to snuff on all this.
Yes,
Talk
I
to
was,
Stretch.
I was talking with Stretch.
Cause they're already getting calls that they're responding to that are not in their wheelhouse, in my opinion.
They've been doing that a lot.
I'm sorry?
They've been doing that a lot. Look
Yeah,
at
but
last year's calls even, it's been.
Well,
way
that's
more than
lift assist,
normal,
but they just
so.
got a call the other day to go check a vehicle in a ditch. And it's like, why is the fire department checking a vehicle in the ditch? It should be a deputy.
First responders too, so.
Well, when you walk up there, you don't have a bulletproof vest on, you got someone tweak it out in the ditch, and it's your husband. It's not very funny.
Of course, that's also
Nobody said it
dispatch
was.
too, that is
just
probably
need to
making
be
the
addressed.
wrong response to the fire department.
Yeah, what are they gonna do when they get there?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, Wellhead. Approval and notification, that's all.
Sorry, I'm writing a note, I'm not up to you. Yeah, Mike sent that to me, the wellhead protection implementation grant that I applied for in the fall got funding, so.
Only got.
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten the grant document, but I'm notifying you that we did get approved for some of it, so. When I see that executed grant agreement. The city will have to sign it anyway. At that point, we'll know how much. Whether the full 14,000 I asked for is approved or not, and then we have till the end of 2027 to utilize it.
Anything new in the library?
Uh,
Kind of waiting for the stuff to get here and.
Well, and the door got put off a week,
Right.
2 weeks because of the weather. So that's not going on now until the 9th.
Okay. I've got nothing on the duck. Not until the springtime at earliest.
Yep.
City Hall, Christina, you have a meeting plan?
Yeah, Nick and Kayla Schmishny and myself are meeting this Friday afternoon to just start wheels turning. Obviously, I'll have to bring Kayla up to speed on, the whole project, where it started and where it ended and where we are now.
You want on that, Mike?
I think I have one, aren't I?
Didn't formally ask you, but I assumed you were coming.
I said, I thought I was on it.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not at a game at 2 o'clock on Friday. I
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the playoffs now, so it's just about done.
Weekends,
Go for 2 weeks, then I start again.
the softball will start. Yeah.
All right. New business then. Golf course.
So this is kind of just informational for the board. Huntington Bank is the financiers for the golf cart lease. I was reminded by this notice that we started that lease midsummer. And it is, the lease agreement is 60 payments, 6 months of part of the year or the year and 6 months off. So unfortunately, I did not budget in the 2026 expense budget for the 3 last payments for this golf cart lease. So Misty and I discussed this. We've adjusted some numbers in her expenses so that our budget basically is the same. We're just going to back off on some of the batteries we'll hopefully get to replace that need to be due in these carts so that we can make those lease payments.
We won't really know the condition of those batteries until,
That'd be a guess.
yeah.
But because it's a change to the budget that was already approved, I need to bring it to your
Correct.
attention.
Yeah,
And
I
have you
got
guys
you.
formally approve it in the consent agenda on the 9th.
Okay. Planning Commission's recommendation.
So the planning commission met last week, and Commissioner Rockus brought up blight and fines. And they basically ended with asking for the city to increase the fee for public nuisance as it pertains to blight. I know that we've increased it in the past. I didn't know how far back it went until I actually dug. But we had not increased it since like 2019 or 18. And at that time when it was increased, it was like a $25 or a $50 fine. And what was increased to it was that the city would fine somebody $50 for the first offense and $100 for the second offense. That really hasn't gotten a whole lot of traction either. My discussion with the planning commission, and I know I've talked about it with the board too, is that if the city's gonna fine somebody for blight, it's gotta be enough to handle the attorney's fees that's going to take over in a civil action in order to hold the person and end up being basically assessed to somebody's property taxes if they don't pay it. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people can come up with 50 or $100 really easily for some reason. But 500 is and higher might be a little bit more of a stick. So they've made a recommendation for the council to consider increasing that fee.
And if you have to take legal action under the current fees, the city would
There's no way we're.
be losing money, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
Absolutely.
You're chasing your tail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually cheaper to do nothing and let them have
Exactly.
a decaying property.
and since we approve fees and charges in resolution format,
We'll have to redo this one.
well, and it's an easy thing, it's not an ordinance change,
Mhm.
was my point.
So this fee schedule would then be reprinted, is that right?
Yes,
We'd approve it.
yes.
Are there specific line items that you're thinking of that would be changed?
It would be item 60.
Yeah.
On page 3.
That's just the one?
Yeah,
Yep.
because that section of the ordinance really covers everything under public nuisance.
Okay, yeah, that's made sense to me.
Are we doing a first and second offense on that? 500 first offense,
Oh, I'm sorry.
second offense would be the same, or?
No. You didn't learn it after you paid 500, maybe you do it after 1,000, huh? I don't know.
Or just not have a first and second offense in there, just leave it. Shall be $500.
Yeah. 500 for each one, each offense, I would imagine.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, that's a significant bump,
It is a significant bump.
sufficient.
What I kind of told the commissioners was, if this is how the city wants to move forward. In the past, when there's been blight letters sent out, I've always been in the ballpark of make some changes, tell me you're making some changes, show me you're making some changes,
And I think,
and I won't fine you because it's a waste of money to do so. But now what I would do is, because I've got repeat offenders in town, happens every year during a blight tour. What I would want to do is, I would write a letter to all of these people and tell them, this is what's gonna happen this summer if you don't clean it up. And it's gonna cost you this much, and I now have the backing of the council to charge you this much. And take you to court if I have to, if you don't wanna pay it, and clean up your yard. Yeah, fun.
Well, yeah, you know, Bemidji, they give you your warnings and then they take care of it and bill you.
See, and that's the other thing that we could be doing is we could be towing cars out of people's yards and paying for them to be stored and then charge that to the taxpayer.
it's
Mhm.
good.
That's a lot of, I mean, that's a lot of follow-up, but yeah, we could be doing that.
If it's, well, like I said earlier, it's. The way it is now, it's $50 if you have that vehicle or whatever sitting there. And you're gonna pay that $50 fee, that's cheaper than anywhere that's gonna store it. You know,
Right.
so you gotta make it so it's not, and. It's gotta be a big deal, otherwise they're not gonna listen.
So how much time is the first offense to the second offense? How much time do you give?
Usually like 30 days,
Okay.
yeah.
That seems reasonable.
It's really hard to collect on administrative fines too. I have to like really report them. It's not something that is criminal offense. So it's not anywhere where the bucket of law enforcement is even gonna get involved.
So what do you think?
I'm for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Put it in.
Say, council supports this.
Mhm.
You don't like it from me, you're gonna get it from somebody else too. So talk to 5 other people.
There's a house I go by and I just cringe. I'm like, if I was their neighbor, they would hate me because their stuff would be gone. I wouldn't look at that every day of my life.
We got the citywide cleanup.
Well, the commissioners,
Speaking of-
picked the
speaking of
date
white-
for it at least, so. I'll be working on that in the next month. It'll be May 14th. I guess Thursday worked really good last year, so I'll try to do that again.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Mike, do you have any last minute items?
Nope.
for us? Okay.
Something you wanna just toss at us that,
Well,
I'm
I'm-
a little off my game today.
I'm reversing traditional roles.
Something.
I have a last minute item for you.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a install date to replace the missing street light on Main Street over here?
No,
Okay,
no, trying to source the same exact pole. So basically it rusted, excuse me, rusted off up top,
Mhm.
pulled apart.
Yep.
Trying to source the exact same one that's not going well. There's
Thanks, Jim.
a slight feeling of, do we really need it over there? With how much light is in the area? Or do we start switching to a different style? Right, because of the age of that and quite clearly limited availability,
Mhm.
right? It's kinda, I gotta make a decision or come to a group agreement on what to do.
Well, couldn't we
Give
just,
me a little more time.
yeah, couldn't we just order a whole new pole and light?
It's gonna be different,
Yeah.
is the thing, yep, and if everybody's cool with that, then I got no problem with
I
it.
mean, I don't know
I'll
too
put up-
many people that walk down the street and compare.
What's that?
I don't know too many people that walk down the street and say, this one doesn't look like the next. one."
Might be my OCD then.
No, I would do it. I would absolutely,
Notice it?
yes,
No.
absolutely.
Well, my
And
opinion
I
is
would
we
go, I
should,
wonder if they're planning on changing all of those. I hope so. I hope they don't leave it like that.
I don't think there's a city out there that doesn't have multiple different kinds of streetlights.
Well, yes, but it's generally in different areas and not
Mhm.
the same block.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at. I mean, if you guys want me to just,
I'm of the opinion we should order a new one.
Mhm.
We do have thriving businesses on Main Street, believe it or not, two of which are under that light. And one of which I am certain of has not been around that long and has been the victim of a breaking and entering, overnight property damage, theft, vandalism. Since they existed, whether that would be prohibited by a street light, but to leave,
pretty sure when the pumpkin went through the window, the street light was on.
mm,
But I get your point.
yeah, so. I can tell you that the people that pay taxes in that area are of the opinion that they would like it.
Oh, I know, I've talked to them.
So. If that's my council member's opinion,
Works for me.
if you take that under
I'll order a
advisement,
pole,
please.
there'll be one up there shortly.
Thank you.
And Lori's gonna hate it.
Okay.
Every minute of it.
Lori doesn't live on that street.
Okay,
My street is lit up. White.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Stand adjourned, thank you.
yeah, I have blackout curtains for the street light, not for the sun. Our lights, it's bright.